We are now on air. Time for a total takeover.
It's finally here. Welcome to a new episode.
It's about to go down.
Here it is, a rainy, dreary Wednesday morning here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Good morning, it's yours truly, Dan Adams, a.k.a. the Social Conservative, the DA, and the Prosecutor. Coming to you live from the Political Heat Remote Studios, a.k.a. the Vehicle, a.k.a. the Dodge Journey. Headed into the 9 to 5. And I want to quickly talk about Donald Trump, the FBI raid, and the obsession of the left trying to somehow put this man away so he cannot run in 2024. This expedition, fishing expedition, as they say, people keep saying, oh, they're trying to just drum up some charges for January 6th, or trying to find evidence for which you can find anything that you want, okay? Unless that man told these people to go into the Capitol and cause the havoc that they did, then these people need to shut up, move on, which they can't. And I think I just heard on the radio this morning that in the Wyoming primary, where Darth Vader's Liz Cheney got trounced, didn't even get 30% of the vote. America is, even Democrats are ready to move on from January 6th. Not the hardcore leftists, but just your run-of-the-mill Democrat is done with January 6th. And now, with this 10-hour FBI raid of Donald Trump's private residence in Mar-a-Lago, Florida, they are getting sick and tired of this man being persecuted for no reason whatsoever, but they hate this man. They're trying to find anything to put this man behind bars so he can't run in 2024. Well, you've put fuel on the fire, in regards to his support. MAGA support is at an all-time high. And you're pulling in independents and now Democrats into the fold because of your actions. Former Vice President Sleepy Joe Biden, Attorney General Merrick Garland, and the FBI, who we know has had it in since the man took the freaking escalator down in Trump Tower when he announced that he was going to run for president in 2015. So, you've had an FBI after him, proactively after him, before he even became president, while and during he was president, and now even after, 2 years removed of being president. So you tell me, ladies and gentlemen, this FBI that we're supposed to uphold high and supposed to hold up in reverence, child, please. There may be some really, truly dedicated, impartial FBI employees, agents, special agents, and the like, even some in management, upper management. There may be some. But when you have the upper echelon of the FBI continually trying to take down a man for no other reason is that they are political hacks and they're doing the bidding of the mainstream media and the Democrat Party. So you tell me, why are we supposed to support them? Why are we supposed to hold them up in reverence? Why are we supposed to be having their backs? You tell me when stuff like this goes down. So, ladies and gentlemen, this whole raid, and I am a type of person where if I feel that it's utter and complete nonsense, I'm not going to follow it like everyone else has. I just got the clip notes, as they say, in regards to what went down. And as the title says of this particular podcast, if Donald Trump, now, let me rephrase this. Donald Trump selling nuclear secrets sounds like ... utter and complete nonsense. They know it. We know it. But when you have the Washington Compost and the New York Slimes running with stories like this, they've had it in for this man since day one. This is what you get. And we're supposed to somehow trust the lamestream media. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done for today. I hope that you and yours have a wonderful Wednesday. It's time to get over that hump. And when we do get over that hump and realize that God is still in control, that's all you need to know. Peace.
Your secrets? If the Biden administration really believed that, if they really thought Donald Trump possessed documents that posed an imminent danger to American national security, then you have to wonder, why'd they wait a year and a half to do anything about it? Why did they wait till 90 days before a midterm election? An elections that polls suggest they will lose. It doesn't make... Oh, wait. Actually, it does make sense. In fact, the question answers itself. Despite superficial appearances, the raid on Mar-a-Lago was not an act of law enforcement. It was the opposite of that. It was an attack on the rule of law. It was a power grab. As Matt Booz put it recently in American Greatness, the raid on Trump's home, quote, was exactly what it looks like, a show of force against the opposition leader by the head of state and his personal bodyguards. If this happened in any other country, it would immediately be denounced as the act of a dictator, end quote.
Your dad that morning, that day, a week ago, let's go through what you know and now these new developments, but I also want you to stand back and look at the 6-year history that I just laid out here. I mean, you have a guy by the name of Peter Strzok saying, we will stop him. This is in the summer of 2016 leading into your father's election. Then if your plan doesn't work, don't worry, we have an insurance policy. It's like if you're the unlikelihood that you die before, if you're 40 or below 40. He actually said that. None of these people that signed these FISA warrants were ever held accountable. How can we say we have equal justice in this country and all those people got away with it?
Sure. Well, we can't, Sean, because we don't. And you know, the one thing I'll tell you, it's caused the greatest fundraising. My father's poll numbers have absolutely gone through the roof. They're not even talking about any other Republican candidates because they've all kind of, disappeared. They're not even in the equation. I mean, last night I had an argument between two people in a restaurant who are trying to buy Laura and I dinner to apologize to what for what the United States government has done to our family, Sean. I mean, you wouldn't believe the energy out there. I've been through all of these firestorms over the year. I've never seen America more mad than it is right now. There's only so many times you can cry wolf. People are not buying this sham in the country. They see the weaponization of the FBI. They're calling it the police state in this country. People get this for what it is, Sean. They've removed the wool from people's eyes, and people know exactly what's going on. They're targeting Donald Trump. They're targeting his family. They're targeting everybody around him. They're targeting his lawyers. Anybody that's close to Donald Trump, anybody who's effective, they're targeting right now, and people understand this for exactly what it's worth.
I named all of the names, all the people that signed the FISA warrant. I read the text of Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. I read the list of every conservative associated with your dad and these pre-dawn raids, guns drawn. In some cases, the media tipped off so they can capture it all on camera at 5:45 in the morning. How convenient. And now your own father's home has been raided, and they just started taking boxes out randomly and going through Melania's wardrobe, apparently, as well. And the question is, back in June, your father offered to give them everything. Isn't that true? The room that they asked him to padlock, which he agreed to?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sean. My father has been so cooperative. I mean, and that's what doesn't make sense to the whole family. My father said, anything you guys need, let me know. Anything you need, let us know. Like, I mean, the lawyer, when I first told him about this, he goes, I can't believe this. Like, we had the greatest relationship with these people. Your father literally was with them in early June.
By the way, they put that in writing.
Anything they need at all, you let us know, and we'll give it to you.
They put that in writing in February of this year. February of this year, they said, you've been so cooperative. So this really isn't this really about a fishing expedition, January 6th, taxes, or anything else, if your father spit on the sidewalk? Isn't that what they're really looking for?
Absolutely, it's a fishing expedition. I mean, they pulled the warrant on Friday. They didn't actually execute the warrant until Monday. So when I hear about these nonsense speculations about nuclear codes, okay, so, you know, FBI agents were so busy on a weekend that, you know, over nuclear codes, they waited 4 days. I mean, it's nonsense. Sean, it's absolutely fishing. And, you know, it's the exact same playbook that they used during Russia. The exact same reporters are being leaked information that were used as the sources for the whole Russia hoax. I mean, go line up all the reporters who were getting inside information, unsolicited information during the Russia hoax. They're the exact same people that the FBI are leaking to now. It's the same reporters reporting on the same thing, the same story. They're going to their friends in the Democratic media, who are effectively the lobbyist arm of the Democratic Party, and they're leaking stories about Donald Trump to hurt him. We're 90 days out, Sean, from the midterms.
Yeah.
It's not surprising. This timing is not surprising, and it's backfiring on these people.
Will you still have the surveillance tape, is that correct? Are you allowed to share that with the country?
Absolutely, Sean, at the right time. And your body cam point was spot on. That's why cops wear body cams. They don't tell you to turn off cameras. They want transparency, and that's not what happened here.
And you know for a fact they asked for the cameras to be turned off.
They asked for the cameras to be turned off.
Wow. All right.
Joining me now is Christina Bobb, attorney for President Trump, who was on site for that raid. Christina, thank you for joining us tonight. Does President Trump support or oppose the release of the affidavit?
Well, President Trump has been very straightforward in that he supports all transparency through this process, and he wants what's best for the American people, and he's going to rely on the courts to do the right thing.
So he will not then submit, or you will not submit, a motion to the court to release the affidavit in opposition to what the government said today?
We support what Judicial Watch has started. We're watching it very closely, trying to gauge what's happening, and we'll respond accordingly. So I don't have an exact answer today. We're watching the situation and seeing how it develops, and we'll respond in a way that we think is best for the American people.
So no determination on that as of now, because that is the most crucial piece of information, because that document apparently establishes, they say, probable cause. It includes sensitive information. The government's arguing they don't want to compromise, cooperating witnesses. And it's so far it's their case against President Trump such that it is.
Right. You're exactly right. And supposedly it does have probable cause in it. I find that a little bit hard to believe. Obviously, a judge signed it, but knowing the background in the situation, I don't think there is probable cause to do what they did. So I am myself curious to see what's in it, and we're looking forward to seeing how this all plays out.
But you're not. I don't know. Given the president's comments earlier, we would think that he would want it all out there so everyone can see it in the light of day. I'm still not following. What would the concern be on your part for not having it released?
No, we are supporting it. I'm not aware of any effort to oppose it. We just are following the lead of the case that's already going and watching to see what happens in response to it. But
okay, fair
he
enough.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fair. So he's not opposing its release, but he's not going to urge that it be released. Is that a correct characterization?
I would say that's a fair assessment at this point, yes.
Okay. On the issue of the passports, which to me is just another ridiculous wrinkle here. Earlier today, the president said that the FBI stole his 3 passports, 1 expired, that it's an assault on a political opponent at a level never seen before in our country. And apparently you told our producers just before the show that the passports have now been picked up. So you got them back, 2 expired, 1's the diplomatic passport that every former president gets to keep in his possession. What's your view on this? Was this just an honest mistake? Were they in a drawer?
I don't know about any honest. I won't give them that much credit at this point. I think this goes to show the level of audacity that they have. If you're going to execute a raid on the primary residence of the President of the United States, you need to do it perfectly. There's no room for error. And when our Fourth Amendment rights are at stake as a nation, you cannot be flippant in any way. So I don't give them a pass as this was a simple mistake. I think it goes to show how aggressive they were, how overreaching they were, that they were willing to go past the four corners of the warrant and take whatever they felt was appropriate or they felt that they could take, and then go back through and look through everything. And once they realized, oh, whoops, maybe we went a little too far, then negotiate the return of it. And that's absolutely not the way a warrant is supposed to be executed. So, no, I think they were wrong and basically got caught.
Where were the passports? Were they in a safe? Were they in a drawer, a box? I mean, where were they?
I don't actually know. They were probably in the office, I would assume, because that makes the most sense. But again, they didn't disclose where they picked things up, so I can't say for certain.
Now, in his first interview since the raid, the president told Fox News Digital that people are so angry at what is taking place, whatever we can do to help, the temperature has to be brought down in the country. If it isn't, terrible things are going to happen. What did the president mean by terrible things are going to happen?
I think he just is looking at what's happening in the country and realizing the angst that people are going through. I think he's saddened by the frustration that Americans are facing and realizing that their government has been hijacked by radicals that don't care about the American people and don't care about our quality of life and our culture. As a culture, this is a new step that we've never experienced before, and a level, to some extent, of fear in the nation that the government's becoming overreaching. And I think he's concerned about that devolution of our culture and what we hold sacred. That is what I believe. I didn't specifically ask him that question, but that would be my understanding, that he doesn't like the direction that the country's going.
Well, of course, the left is jumping on it, saying the president's intimating that people could commit violence, be another January 6th. But you're saying that that's not what you believe
not
he was getting
all.
at.
President
Was a
Trump
corrosive effect on the government.
Correct. Not at all. President Trump loves this country, and he's never supported violence, although the left has. So I think it's a bit hypocritical and ironic that they would try to throw that narrative out when he has been peaceful and brought peace to the world and peace to this nation, and is trying to bring peace to this nation. He reached out to Merrick Garland and said, anything I can do after you raided my personal residence. Sorry, this is through his attorneys, but he wanted a specific message to Merrick Garland. This was not them directly, but saying, I want Merrick Garland to know that I support bringing this nation together and lowering the temperature, as you said. What can I do? My resources are at your disposal. I'm willing to do anything. And the DOJ ignored it. They didn't respond. That was on Thursday morning. And then a few hours later, Merrick Garland gave a 3-minute press brief where he didn't even bother to disclose to the American public that President Trump was trying to be helpful in the situation.
Well, what specifically was President Trump suggesting? Everyone wants to bring the temperature down. I think that's a noble, desire, of course. But what specifically does he propose that he can do at this point?
Sure. Well, I think he was looking at it saying the American people don't trust the FBI or DOJ. They lied about Russia. They lied about Crossfire Hurricane. They lied to Congress. Comey lied to Congress. McCabe lied to everybody. They lied to the FISA court. The American people rightfully don't trust the FBI right now and don't trust the Department of Justice, but they do trust President Trump. And he has a big platform. He has a big following. And so I think it was a genuine olive branch to say, I'm trying to help this country. They don't trust you, but they trust me. What can we do? And they ignored it.
Well, short of dropping the case, I'm not sure what Merrick Garland would do at this point. Right? Just drop. Let's move on. I don't know what the Justice Department is going to do. They're not in favor of releasing the affidavit. We know that.
Right. But I think it would go a long way to just show that they care, that they are putting this nation through angst. The American people are frustrated and angry. They love Donald Trump, and no one believes that this is a real case. They believe it's a witch hunt. And so any attempt to come together, I think, is fair.
Christina, we really appreciate your joining us tonight. Thank you very much.
Honored to have Donald Trump Jr. on with us, the Executive Vice President of Trump Organization and author of Liberal Privilege. Welcome, Don. Welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Good to be with you guys.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I saw your father at CPAC, and I sat there and I listened to him, and I thought, there is no one in American history, no one who has gone through what your president, what your father and your family has gone through. And then Monday, this happens. Let me get some facts here from you. First of all, they have released the warrant, but not the affidavit. Your dad has come out and said, absolutely, I insist that you release it. Any chance of that happening? Have you heard anything?
I doubt it. You see what happens. It's not our first rodeo. None of this surprises us. Merrick Garland gets on TV. They want total transparency because of, and then, we can't actually do that. We got the soundbite out there. We'll get our lackeys in the liberal media to run with it as though that's meaningful or real. And then they do absolutely nothing. Remember, Merrick Garland had no knowledge of it. Then he had knowledge and personally signed off. Then it turns out he's been weighing the decision for months. It's all a lie, and that's the real problem is, they do this stuff. Saying you saw it yesterday with the passports. They took his passports, which weren't part of the warrant. They took picture books, which probably weren't part of the warrant, but none of that matters. Then they leak it to Norah O'Donnell. No, we didn't actually do it. It takes about 6 seconds to disprove this stuff. Meanwhile, the other information and the misinformation that's put out there goes viral, and they pretend that this stuff's above board. Think about it. They used the FBI's HRT, the hostage rescue team, to serve this, search warrant. That's like the SEAL team of the FBI to serve a warrant on an empty house. I understand that 3 weeks ago, according to the media, Donald Trump apparently, choked out 2 very heavily armed and very fit young Secret Service agents to take over the beast,
right? To
drive down to his supporters at January 6th. Now, they heard that from a witness who seemed to have perjured herself when the Secret Service agents themselves said, hey, we'd like to testify and say that didn't even come close to happening. Now they don't want to hear from them anymore. But think about it. They used the HRT, the hostage rescue team, to try to serve this warrant. Like Donald Trump's going to, he wasn't even there, but
how many times did they, because they contacted your dad, he put a lock on the door where they were done at their request. Where was this in the back and forth?
Listen, I know they've been working with him for months. They said he was been nothing but cooperative. All they had to do was ask. He literally said that, and they turn over whatever they're looking for because, but they can't do that. They don't want to do that. They want to do it under, the guise. They want to, create the intimidation factor, of going in there with the HRT. We gotta really make sure that people learn not to speak out against us. I don't know of an institution in America that's destroyed their credibility more than the FBI. They clearly haven't stopped anything in months, and then then they get on TV. How dare they speak out against the FBI, who's functioned so admirably? When Peter Strzok and Andy McCabe go on TV and talk about integrity after lying, when they sign off on faulty FISA warrants, when others literally get caught lying, they're back in their jobs like nothing happened because it was against Donald Trump. What's going on is absolutely disgusting. It's clearly an intimidation tactic. The deep state's rearing its head. And imagine, the media, if Donald Trump weaponized the FBI to go after his political enemies and did this to Barack Obama, their heads would explode. There would be nothing else on TV for them. It's ho-hum because Donald Trump is the only guy that has the guts and is willing to stand up to these clowns. Every other Republican, there's plenty of them totally silent on all of this too, because either they see it as a window for their political future. Well, if Donald Trump's not in the way, maybe there's a chance for my milquetoast personality to ascend to the highest level of the Republican Party and serve the Democrats dutifully, because that's what it seems like at this point. So, all of these tactics are designed to intimidate, especially Donald Trump and anyone else who'd have the guts to actually speak out against these people. But what's nice is, like all of the things they've done lately, it's gone so far. So much of the American public who've been politically agnostic, who've been quiet, who've been silent, like they're watching this stuff and they can't believe. I have Democrats. Don't forget, I was from New York, even though I'm a lifelong conservative. I was from New York. I got plenty of Democrat friends that are like, holy crap, what's going on in our government? If this was going on in a banana republic, the warmongers in government, they'd be starting a war to overthrow those governments. It's happening here.
I will tell you,
done by our DOJ.
I will tell you that when I heard that they were going after your dad for espionage, I really thought I have finally entered, the Alice in Wonderland upside down. Your father with espionage?
Yeah. It's Russia, part 29. Give me a break. Like, yes, he has the nuclear codes. He probably stole the nuclear football, and he's giving those things to.
So
when does it end? By the way, maybe we'd be better off if Donald Trump still had the nuclear football, because at least our enemies respect him, unlike the laughing stock that currently occupies, the White House, which is frankly, his personality and his idiocy is only encouraging our enemies. But when does it stop? Does it ever? And it's only making me more inclined to be more aggressive, speak out further. I probably already am rather aggressive, but because this stuff can't happen in America. And for our media to sit idly by, spread the propaganda, you see what they do every time, right? Something happens, they lose control of the narrative, they leak to their usual suspects. I want to know, are the FBI agents involved in this ones the same ones that were looking into Hillary and the laptop and the taking of hammers to Blackberries and Anthony Weiner and the top secret stuff that was supposedly on his laptop? Because I wonder, do they have just a corrupt team that they use to do all of these things? Because one has to start wondering these things because this can't just be coincidence at this point. And I've gone through great lengths, Glenn, as you know, to sort of make the distinction between sort of the bureaucrats at the FBI, the guys that, they're lawyers, they've never carried a gun, they wouldn't know what to do with one if they did, who have weaponized, that formerly great institution, and the door kickers who come up to me all the time and they're disgraced what's going on in their organization, or the retired guys especially, because they're a little bit more inclined to be vocal about it. But if the regular guys don't start speaking up, don't start functioning as whistleblowers, who are definitely, they're heroes and deities if they're whistleblowers for the left.
Yeah, no.
If you're a whistleblower for the right, you lose your job. Someone's got to start saying something, because it's getting much and much harder to defend, even the rank and file at this point, who, again, don't seem to be stopping anything. They've had on the radar every terrorist in the last, every psychopath in America. They've been on their radar, and yet they managed to slip through and kill people all over America. But, they've certainly had plenty of time to weaponize a BS argument against Donald Trump and do so ad nauseum.
I will tell you, I've got a bazillion questions I could ask you, but I'm just about to run out of time because I know you're a busy man. But so let me go here. First of all, there are, I think, 13 or 14 whistleblowers, which is a really good sign. We need many, many more. But there are whistleblowers in the FBI, so they haven't killed it yet, although it is on that road. The New York Times, for some reason, decided to report that your father reached out to Garland and asked how he could help reduce the heat to calm everybody down. I thought that was a great move. Yesterday, he came out and said, look, the temperature is getting to a boiling point here. I'll do anything I can to reduce the temperature. We are in deep trouble, and I think they are doing this because they can't find the extremists. They want to make people extremists and just keep poking them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
What is...
Well, listen, it certainly sounds that. Like you saw what they did with, those meth heads in Michigan, where they tried entrapping a bunch of lunatics to try to create the assassination plot of Gretchen Whitmer. And they ran with that right before the election like it's real. The three white supremacists left in America, they found them all, and they're going to, give me a break. These are the same clowns that say, that's the greatest threat to American democracy in America. And where? What are you talking about? It's lunacy.
I want to ask you this. I want you to leave us, if you can, with some hope. What is it that the American people should be doing? I think they are paying attention. They are calling their senators and congressmen and are not speaking out. I think Congress and the Senate needs to be very clear on this. But what is your message, or your father's message, to the American people who are like, I can't take it anymore?
Listen, I think we have to stay in the game. I think this, I think it's very purposefully a war of attrition on the other side. If they can intimidate you enough, if they can make you cause enough, create enough fear, and they've certainly done that, and I can understand why. But I think so much rests on us not letting this just slide. If they do this now and they try to weaponize it to prevent a Trump from running, which is clearly what they're doing, right? They exercise a incredibly broad search warrant. They take picture books, even anything that they can do to try to hurt Trump. They don't want his lawyers present, because if I'm doing a search warrant, I want the lawyers present so that there's never anything above board. And then when you question why they would do that, how dare you question it? I mean, I don't know. I've been looking at the FBI for the last 5 or 6 years. It doesn't seem like they've done anything above board lately, right? I mean, they don't get in trouble for doing the things, but, they get caught, manufacturing things, faulty signatures, lying, whatever it may be. And we're supposed to still believe that this is a credible organization. I think we have to actually be engaged in this process. I think we cannot let it slide. I think we cannot just say, okay, well, let's just maybe put a milquetoast Republican in there because that will calm things down. No, that gives them the win. That gives them everything that they want because nothing will ever be done to prevent this from happening again. I think what you need, honestly, you need a Donald Trump in there and you need to actually drain the swamp. You got to fire the bureaucrats and you need someone who has the guts to actually do that. And honestly, I don't know that exists in too much.
But we are not beyond, we are not to the point where we are beyond the ballot box, are we?
I think we have to be at the point where we overwhelm the ballot box. We overwhelm the games that are played. You saw what happened yesterday in the recall, the signature ballot recall for George Gaston. The Democrats in charge, they threw out 30% of the signatures, who I'm sure people, they're watching what's going on in crime-ridden California, and I'm sure they were real and really signing off. So they took 750,000 signatures. They canceled about 30% of them. Said, now you didn't make 30%, but they want you to believe that the 2020 election, that less than 1% of the signatures of these random ballots going out to people in dozens to various homes, like all over the country, they want you to believe less than 1% of those were faulty, but more than 25, almost 30% of the ones in the California recall elections were faulty, right? Like, that doesn't work. These aren't, it's not like a sample size of 3. This is a sample size of 750,000 people. That was 30%, but over 100 million people, it was less than 1%. We have to overwhelm it. We have to get in there. We have to do everything we can to save our country and the republic because it is at stake and it is on the ballot.
Donald Trump Jr., thank you, sir. My best to your family and to your father. We are praying for him and you and the rest of the family. Thank you so much.
We really appreciate it.
God bless
Thank you so much, guys.
You bet.